How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. It has been a little minute since we have been here on the live, but we are back and ready to be as informative and fun as always. But that being said, let's get into it. Today is Monday, so Mr. Darrell is here to go over some amazing information. Today it is lumber versus steel. We're going to talk about costs, materials, and so much more. Stay around for that. It's going to be an exciting episode. So as always, let's get into the content. After I go ahead and fix this clicker. Let's see. Boop. All right, where's Mallett? We are in 86 different job locations this week, you guys, doing everything from forming to concrete pours to finish off the jobs, all the way to the beginning with materials being delivered and ready for construction. Let's get into that, you guys. We are all over. We have 63 jobs in Louisiana alone. In construction, we're in Arnaville, Brobridge, Bush, Leesville, Ponchatoula, Rain, Robeline, Starks. We have a number of buildings materials on the ground. We're in forming, fill sand phase, concrete, finishers, and inspections all over the state. 63 locations all the way up from the Ruston, Monroe area down to New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, hitting pretty much everywhere in Louisiana. We are proud of that. Looks like we even got a building right here in the middle of Kisatchie. I'd love to see that one. If that is you and you're watching, go ahead and drop a photo of your build location. We'd love to see the scenery. Now in Texas, we have 20 jobs going on as well. We are in construction again on the ground, forming, fill sand, concrete. Typo there. Finishers and red tags, but 20 different locations, you guys. As you can see, we are all over this southeastern side of Texas and going strong. Even with the weather last week, we were still able to knock out over 20 jobs and finishing up those, and very excited about that, you guys. Again, logistics is insane. Super happy to be a part of it. Now, moving around, why Mallett? Love talking about this, you guys, because it is a great explanation of industry standard versus Mallett standard. So speaking of industry standard, we bring to the Rival series. What is that? That is our version of an industry standard build. We found a lot of people just like the budget friendliness. You know, some people just want a building. They just want something to have 4 walls and a roof to put their things in. And if that is you, the Rival series is for you. Now, what you're gonna get on the Rival is gonna be equivalent to what our competitors build, what the industry standards are in this area, things of that nature. This is what I'm gonna call a code-built building because it gets the job done and it meets code. 29 gauge metal, 4-on-12 roof pitch, 2x6 trusses. Those trusses are often not third-party inspected if you go with any of the other builders in the area. They're usually gonna be common flat trusses as well with 130-mile-an-hour wind rating on their building. You're also going to have no uplift control, so of course they do not have the Mallett cable lock system. Posts are going to go directly into the ground or whatever aggregate is there. They're not going to have any sort of post pads. You're also going to have 2x8 headers, 3,000 PSI concrete, no ground protection, limited warranties, if any, as well as they usually use number 2 untreated generic lumber. Now, what does that do when it comes together? This gives you a good building. It is a building that meets code and it will protect the things you put inside of it. This is just a good building. Now, if you are like me and prefer to go the little extra mile, you know, you're willing to look a little bit more into it, figure out the goods, the bads, the pros, cons, all that, you may realize, I don't just want a good building, I want a great building. I want the best building. And if that's the mindset you're in, then I have the solution for you as well. That is gonna be starting with the Mallett Classic. We have 3 tiers of building here at Mallett. We have the Classic, Signature, and the Elite. This is gonna be our entry-level building. And let me explain to you the differences. As you can see here, there's already a great difference on what is offered here. With the Mallett Classic, and every other Mallett building is going to come standard with 26 gauge metal. 26 gauge metal is thicker, stronger, and more durable than 29 gauge metal. We're also going to have a 5-on-12 roof pitch as opposed to 4-on-12. The 5-on-12 pitch, first off, it's just more aesthetically pleasing. It looks nicer, but it also performs better as in it has a slight stronger angle, which is going to help deflect rain, hail, sleet, things of that nature, and also help prevent clogging because it's going to be able to allow the water runoff to happen that much easier. We're also going to have 2x8 cathedral trusses. We call them scissor trusses. Most know them as cathedral trusses. That is going to give you more headroom inside your building. We're also going to have every one of those trusses are third-party inspected. We have inspectors coming all the time to make sure everything we say we are doing. What that means is you get a product that is backed by not only our word, but the word and inspections and stamps of approval of third-party professionals, making sure that everything is the highest quality. Now, speaking of the highest quality, you can see here we have two categories of wind rating. We're going to have a roof and building wind rating. The roof load system of our buildings is going to be rated for 170 mile an hour wind load rating, with the building itself on the Mallett Classic being 140 mile an hour. Already a difference from the rival series or the competition, the industry standard, whatever you want to call it. We're also going to have the Mallett cable lock system. That is our 1/8 inch aircraft cable that is tied off to some lag bolts that get put into the base of every post around the whole perimeter of the building, connecting post to post. On top of that is going to be the concrete slab. In this case, it's going to be 4-inch, 4,000 PSI concrete, and all of that dead weight of the concrete is going to push down on the cable lock system, creating uplift control. So in a high wind scenario, if a door or window malfunctions, that wind is going to rush in and look for somewhere to rush out. Normally, what's going to happen is it's going to push up like a parachute and want to pull that building up and out and away, oftentimes resulting in the loss of a building and the investments inside. The cable lock system helps prevent that by creating uplift control, and it is the sole reason we have, in 27 years, never lost a building to a hurricane due to the Mallett cable lock system. We are very proud about that. This building we're standing in now has been through 16 hurricanes over the 27 years, and it's just the proof is in the pudding and the results, you guys. Now, we're also going to have 2x12 headers. That is going to be a large increase from the 2x8, but it's also going to be what supports that roof system of 170 mile an hour wind rating. We're also going to have skirt board protection for skirt board guards for ground protection. You're going to start off with a 4-year workmanship warranty all the way up to a 10-year on the Elite. We're also, everything we have is going to be #1 MCA ground treated kiln dried lumber. Mr. Darrell is going to be going into a little bit more deeper explanation of that later, so I'll save the specifics for him. But from the roof to the ground is all going to be ground treated. Everything is also going to be in-house engineering oversight. As I said, Mr. Darrell and his team are going to be here to make sure everything is not only to code, but to Mallett standard and engineered quality, and everything is going to be checked and reviewed to make sure your building is as perfect as it can possibly be. So that is the difference in a Mallett Classic and a rival series. It's backwards on the camera, you guys. It's hard to look at that. But you have a rival series and the Mallett Classic again. This is the entry-level building in our series lineup, you guys. So that just goes to show the extra miles that are taken here at Mallett to make sure we give the best product. Now, moving right along, we have the hero categories, I call them. If you are in one of these categories, healthcare workers, first responders, military personnel, teacher and or educator, first off, we want to say thank you. We say thank you because what you do is what we considered heroes' work. You are educating and saving the lives of others, and the very least we can do is to say thank you by offering you $500 off your next Mallett building. Just let your building specialist know if this is one of your occupations, and we can make sure to get that discount to you. Now, if you comment cash, the Magical Mardi Gras Tiger will give you $1,000 off your next Mallett building if it is of signature or elite tier. Now, this does not apply to specials and promotions, but don't worry, we have a classic promotion coming up here soon to celebrate February. So stay tuned for that here shortly, but you get $1,000 off simply by commenting 4 letters, cash, C-A-S-H, cash, and you get $1,000 cash to your pocket when you buy a Mallett building. And if you fall into one of these categories, you can bundle that between $5,000 and $1,000 to get $1,500 off your next Mallett building, so don't miss out on the free money there. Now, speaking of those specials and promotions, here are our February specials and promotions. We have a classic promotion this month, you guys, and here's what's included. That 5-on-12 roof pitch we talked about, 2x6 cathedral trusses, 140 mile an hour wind load rating on the building, 170 on the roof load system, and everything else we discussed in the classic review, as well as the double 2x12 headers, concrete pad under every post, cable lock system, 1 walk-through door, skirt board guards, and the engineered oversight we discussed. The concrete is, as I said, included as with every Mallett building. You're also going to get 1 free roll-up door, as you can see here. Now, Google reviews, BBB, all that good stuff. But here's the fun part. For you, the wonderful customer to be, material prices are expected to increase soon, so lock in these rates today. That's why this is such an important special. We got word the other day that prices will be going up soon, and that's going to be reflected all the way across the board. But this building here is going to fall into our monthly special of $29,499. So for the month of February, at this price, you're going to get a Mallett building. Now, any size you choose is going to include free single bubble insulation. Talk to your building specialist about that so you can consider the insulation covered by Mallett in the month of February. The weather's been crazy. We're helping plan for that in the future. So $29,499, you guys. It was $32,389, but we're dropping the price, throwing some extra stuff in there and giving you as much value as possible. Give us a call at 337-214-0428 for more information, and we'll make sure to get you the month of February and maybe show your partner some love. Valentine's Day is coming up. What better way to show them you love them than a Mallett building? That's what I'm saying, you know? But also we have the Cajun Oasis Classic, keeping the classic buildings going. 30 by 50 by 12, $49,999. What is included? Let's talk about it. You're gonna also get insulation in the Cajun Oasis, you guys. February is an insulation heavy month. It's cold and it's hot and it's blazing and it's freezing. So you get all that. Insulation is definitely gonna help, as well as the climate control package with the 5-ton unit, as you see here. Now that electrical package and 5-ton unit is gonna be a $16,000 value. So but by the time you're done with this building, you're gonna get a building ready to go with electricity hooked up and ready, an AC, a heater, and insulation all included in this special price. But again, if you want more, you want to go the extra mile, you've heard about the Elite building. We have that for you as well in the Cajun Oasis Elite. It is everything the Classic has, but all of the Elite features, some of which can be seen here. The optional wainscoting, the additional windows, you get 2 3x5s. You also get the roll-up and walk-through door. There's going to be gutters. Here's the 5-ton unit. You're going to be getting all the additional features, including the post protectors, which Mr. Darrell again is going to be talking about here soon, and so much more for $59,999. If you have any questions, give us a call, visit our website. All the information is there. We'd be happy to put you in the Cajun Oasis for this summer. Now, the 5 red flags, we're going to breeze through these, but this is what we consider something of the utmost importance because it is to help you in making your decision when choosing your builder, whether it be us or someone else. We want you to be informed and educated and know what you're getting into. And to do that, there's some things you need to look forward to. Let's talk about that. Red flag number 1 is going to be years of experience. You can check that at the Secretary of State website, you guys. The years of experience is so important, but what I like to say is if you go to the Secretary of State website and you don't see them there at all, well, that means they're not a legitimate business, or they think they're a legitimate business and haven't done the paperwork the right way. Either way, they're not a business. So make sure they pop up there. We've been in business here at Mallett for 27 years and going strong. Not everyone can say that, and hopefully whoever you're talking to can be considered a real business, but do that research and check for yourself. Number 2, still talking about licensures, we want to talk about the contractors having the actual license they need. There's commercial, residential, industrial, so forth and so forth. We want to make sure the person you're doing business with is capable of properly and legally taking care of the build that you are requesting. To do that, you go to the Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors, or the LSLBC, and you can see a list of licenses there. While you're at the LSLBC, you can also check out contractor violations. This is a registered list of all violations, essentially times they've broken the law that this company has been found guilty of. This is a phenomenal place to go because not everyone is upfront and honest about their mistakes, and some people try to hide those. This is where those can become shown to light, and we want to make sure you are aware of who you are doing business with. Here at Mallett, we have 0 contractor violations. In our 27 years, we're very proud of that, and we're looking to continue that streak for years to come. Now, reviews on the BBB and Google, this is a very special one today because as of this morning, we have over 700 reviews between the BBB and Google. We also, on the Better Business Bureau, have an A+ rating, which we've had for as long as I can remember, and we're very proud of that because it's not just something you pay for and it gets assigned. You have to upkeep their standards and moral values and an extensive list of things as well to maintain that rating, and we're very, very proud of that. As well as over 700 happy customers, you guys. Now, of course, we know out of 700 reviews, they're not all happy, but we're proud to say that the vast majority, about 99.8% of them, are happy customer reviews. So please check those out, both good and bad. See where we went wrong and how we fixed it, see where we went right and how the customer's enjoying it. But do this for anyone you're considering doing business with, because the public's opinion is, as far as we understand, how it really went down. That's how the person feels, that's how the experience went. See what you're getting yourself into and use that as a deciding factor. Finally, visit the contractor's facility. Want to make sure that you are welcome to their facility because not everyone has a facility. A lot of people are what we like to call brokers. They are a middleman. They kind of work between two walls and help you however they can. Here at Mallett, we got rid of that step and we made sure we make the trusses, we do the gutters. We are about to start the roll form operation, so we'll be doing our own metal and delivery, packaging. Every part of the building starts here at Mallett, and we're very proud that we have hundreds involved in our crew to make it happen. But what we want you to do, and we were most happy about, is the amazing crew here at the office. So come on by, check us out. We're right off the Interstate I-10. Make sure you come on in, shake some hands, put some names to faces, and just get that warm, welcoming experience that you can expect here at Mallett. Now, that is all for me. On to Mr. Darrell for the educational portion of today, steel versus lumber. Let's talk about that.
Hey, I'm Darrell Fussell, the engineer here at Mallett, and today we're going to talk about lumber versus steel. We've talked about it before, but I'll come at it in a little different angle every time. And you know, some people would tell you that steel is indestructible, but steel buildings do rust. And so I've got some good rust pictures here. There's rust. There's a metal building column, or maybe just a straight column, steel column, and you know, water has pooled around this at the base of this column, and it's rusted. Same thing here, and this is a structure that's up in the air that's rusted. So, and there's a column that is rusted to the point that it's scaling with rust. So anyway, so you know, that's just a reality that steel's not indestructible. But some people would say, well, yeah, but compared to steel, wood's got problems. A wood structure can be eaten by termites, or a wood structure can rot. And so, and I can't argue with either one of those points, but the Mallett Buildings has solved those concerns. And in fact, we have a belt and suspender answer. So that's what this picture is about. And I don't know if y'all recognize this guy, depending on how old you are, if you're as old as I am. I'm 62. And so this is Justin Wilson. And he was a guy who lived around A Meat, and he had a cooking show, and he traveled around with a comedy skit, kind of like, he was kind of like Jeff Foxworthy before Jeff Foxworthy. And he wore belts and suspenders. And he said that he did that because he worked, before he started doing comedy, and he had a cooking show on Louisiana Public Broadcasting. Before he started that, he was a safety man in the plants, and in the chemical plants, and that's why he said that he he wore the belt and the suspenders. He wanted some redundancy, you know, and that's, if anybody knows anything about engineers, they're always looking for redundancy and safety factors, and of course a lot of people say over designing things, and so anyway, so I have a bad joke to share with you. So why did the policeman arrest the belt? Because he was holding up some pants. Bad joke, bad joke. Okay, so belt and suspenders. So that's what we have at Mallett in regards to this rot and termite stuff, okay? So this is a typical Mallett building going up, and you see this bottom board. We call that the skirt board, and you'll notice that it's a different color than the other ones. It's a MCA ground treated number 2 piece of lumber, but it's also encased in heavy plastic sheathing. And then this is our post protectors. That's a 6x6 post, that's a main post, and this is 4x4 posts that happen at the doors and the windows. And you see that these posts, which are MCA ground treated lumber, number 2, and but they're encased in PVC, which is practically just, well, for all purposes, it will not rot, it will not be destroyed. There's all this data in our, you know, that people say how bad the plastics are, because plastics, you know, if you throw them in the ocean, they stay for 60, 80, 100 years. And so, you know, PVC is just indestructible. So step one, the belt part of that, of the protection is the plastic around the wood. And then step 2, the suspender part, is the fact that we use MCA ground treated number 2 lumber. Now, so let me just read this to you. MCA-treated lumber involves 2 active ingredients that guard against rot, decay, and termites: copper and tebuconazole. And copper is widely used metal, of course we know, but it's a preservative as well. And this other chemical, tebuconazole, it belongs to the azole family, which you might recognize from products like anti-fungal cream and stuff like that. And this is proven to be very, very effective against termites and against rot. And so this is how the lumber is treated. And the treatment of lumber has come so far in just the last 20 or 30 years, to the point that we can say that the Mallett building is constructed to provide numerous decades of service. I mean, it will stand right alongside a steel building in terms of its durability over time. Now, the other part about that's interesting, if I can find this thing, yeah, is I thought this was interesting, and I like to think about this. So a scientist says that a tree is so strong that the sheer force of high winds in most cases doesn't snap its trunk or branches. This natural strength is the result of the innate properties of wood. Wood is flexible enough that it won't shatter, it's stiff enough that it won't break, but it's light enough that it won't buckle under its own weight. As one scientist writes, no manufactured material could do all these things. Plastics are not rigid enough, bricks are too weak, glass is too brittle, steel is too heavy. Weight for weight, wood has probably the best engineered properties of any material, so it is not surprising that we still use wood more than any other material to make our own structures. And so normal wood is very durable. You know, this is, you see, if you can see that, see how it bends and it doesn't break, and we all know that. It's just the way God made it. It's almost as if God put trees on the earth for people to build houses with. And so it's innately strong and durable, but now we're going to put a belt on it. You know, we're going to treat it with this ground treatment. And then we're going to put suspenders. We're going to encase it in plastic. Now, and as you know, all of our complete structure is MCA ground treated lumber. And you will notice if you look at this photo, this plan of our cross section of our building. So the only part of our building that is in contact with the ground is the post and the skirt board, okay? But the whole thing is MCA ground treated lumber. So I mean, we are belt and suspendering this thing to the max, okay? So in my mind, because of the way we build this building, we can stand side by side with a steel building in terms of durability over time. Now, so that's the first consideration. But then the second consideration is the cost, okay? So I've got a steel building that'll last a long time, got a wood building that'll last a long time. But now let's talk about the cost. And so I got these costs from the internet, and I ran some numbers that I knew to be true. And these are minimum costs per square foot, and these are estimates, of course. And, you know, I'm sure somebody could argue with me, but that's just the way life is. But so the first component of cost for a metal building is the materials, just is the kit. You know, just like a Mallett building comes to your house in bundles of trusses and bundles of purlins, bundles of girts, bundles of sheathing. Well, the same way this metal building comes in a package. So that package of product from the plant costs about $15 per square foot. And of course this can vary, but that's a good price. And then the foundation, that is the cost to form and pour and purchase the concrete. A good square footage price for that is about $10 minimum, okay? Then the assembly labor to put together this Lego set of building from the metal building is around $7 per square foot. So, and just for sake of talking, let's throw in about $3,000 for the doors and windows. It could be more. And then let's allow about $10,000 for the gable extensions and wings, okay? Because when you're talking about this first number of $15 a square foot, you're talking about a box, okay? And of course, you know, you can buy a box building from us too. The only difference between a metal building box building and our box is our box looks like a house because it's got a 5-on-12 roof pitch. The metal building guy's box looks like a shoebox because it's got a 1-on-12 pitch, okay? So, but anyway, so that's, if you add these numbers up, that's $32 per square foot plus about $13,000. And so if you take a 40 by 60 building and you just do the math, that gives you a price of about $90,000. Now, what about us? You just saw Tyler tell us all these specials, and you will see that our specials currently beat that cost by enough to buy a golf cart to put in the building, a jet ski to put in the building, and a boat to put in the building. And so the comparison between steel and Mallett, obviously the good way to go, the wise way to go is with the Mallett building. Now, what about comparing our Mallett building, our wood post frame building, to other competitors' post frame building? And we talk about this all the time, but it's just real briefly, you know, some of our competitors don't use post protectors. Some of them don't encase the skirt guard in plastic sheathing. Some of them use smaller members. You know, we talk about these 2x12 truss carriers. We talk about our 2x8 trusses. And most all of our competitors, none of them will use number 2 ground treated, MCA ground treated lumber. They just don't use that quality of lumber. And so it's not, you know, apples to apples. It's not apples to apples. So if our competitor gives you a cheaper price, there's a reason. And so, you know, when you think about it, when you think about all three of these comparisons, the Mallett building versus steel, or the Mallett building versus the other building, these two comparisons, the Mallett building is the way to go. So the choice is clear. You know, buy a Mallett building. So I hope that you'll have a good week. I'm looking forward to a week that's going to be warmer. I hope maybe I'll get a chance to go fishing a little bit. Tyler said he's going to go fishing, and so I hope to see the sun and to see some warm air. Hope to get outside and play, and might even finish getting all the leaves out of my yard. You know, that's the time of the year. Think about leaves not going to fall anymore, and so you need to get them out and get ready for spring. So y'all have a good week, and we'll see you next Monday.